Greetings and salutations, everyone. You're listening to Mama Rue's Ancestral Musings. This is a podcast about all things blackness with an ancestral point of view. How are you guys doing today? I hope you're doing well. Everything's been great on my end. And man, let me just tell y'all something. I'm so excited right now for a lot of different reasons. Let me go through the list, okay? First of all, I get on my Facebook and the first thing that I see is an article, a blog post written by my spiritual sister, Maisha Worthington. And it basically breaks down Hoodoo as a religion. I'm not even going to read it to you. I don't have permission to do that. But if you have to understand context when we talk about these things, I know you've heard me talk about them. We discussed them on a Little Juju podcast not long ago. She nailed it. Okay. She nailed it as far as it being a practice based around our liberation here in this land. All right. But she goes into a little bit more detail about why that is. So if you follow me on Twitter or on Facebook, you can find a link to that article. Make it your business to read it. All right. And see how it makes you feel. Because, man, I was like doing backflips. Right. I was doing my Holy Ghost dance after I read that article. It was just that powerful. Also, there is a wonderful, wonderful interview with Maisha on a Little Juju podcast. It was one of the earlier ones. So if you subscribe, just go down the list and find it if you haven't heard it already. Okay. It's really, 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 really powerful. And then the second thing I saw, speaking of a Little Juju, is my sister has made the whole ass recording of her podcast intro theme music. It's a whole ass song, y'all. It is so fucking hot. I was like, yeah. I mean, I literally screamed when I saw the post linking to the download, which I went ahead and downloaded it. I did it on my iPhone, and it specifically says that you won't be able to access the file through the iPhone. So I have to go on my computer and do it. But it is available for free, but you can get it with the donation. She's only asking for $2, but I spent a little bit more than $2 because I love that song, right? So please download it and support a Little Juju podcast. Support is Juju Bay. Man, yeah, we got to support our people who are doing the things. I mean, all the things when it comes to representing and validating our culture, in which Hoodoo is a huge part of our culture. Now, you've heard me say that we are in a reclamation process, right? You've heard me say that before. If you're familiar with my podcast, if you are new to this podcast, then, go back and listen to the older episodes and you will hear me say that we're in a reclamation process as Black people on American soil. But I saw something recently that suggests that we've got to reclaim something else, and that was the whole Mammy iconography. Now, the author of that post did not specifically say we need to do this, but she kind of put it out there in a way that it was interpreted by, from what I could see, people in the comments saying, yes, I got to reclaim this. I'm familiar with this. I've seen this. Yes, I think about my ancestors when I see, just stuff like that. And that just made me feel some kind of way. Now, a long time ago, several years ago, about 5 years ago, actually, I was a guest on a Blog Talk radio show called Candelo's Corner, and that was the topic of discussion. But the title of that show is called Who is La Madama? Now, why are we talking about La Madama? That's not our shit, obviously. That's Spanish, right? La Madama is Spanish. And this is iconography that is from Afro-Latino culture, okay? And we got the same ancestors, but we don't have the same culture. All right? So when internet spirituality, started gaining more ground, in the 2000s particularly, there was an individual who perpetrated themselves as a madrina or santera in the Santeria / the Kumi tradition, which is, again, something that is indigenous to the Afro-Latin parts of the diaspora. All right. And they were perpetrating real hard and heavy online until some actual santeros and santeras came into the room and were like, oh, so what's your lineage? Who are your godparents? Where did you get initiated? Da 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 da. And she wasn't equipped to answer those questions, so she disappeared. She ghosted herself and then came back to the internet with a whole new identity and a whole new rhetoric, and basically posit herself as a conjurer / hoodooist / root worker, black spiritualist, even though she ain't damn black. Okay, this is a white woman. Her name is Star Cassis. All right. And this thing here with Lama Dama is something that, again, is unique to Afro-Latino culture and spirituality. What is Lama Dama to an American? Well, the closest thing was who? The Mammy, right? The Mammy iconography, particularly the statues and the cookie jars, and some print work, right? There's lots of graphics and print work out there. Most folks are familiar with Aunt Jemima, and all like that on the pancake mix box. But you will see those Mammy caricatures all over different types of advertising that were meant for domestic products, right? Like cooking stuff, like flour, rice, washing powder, laundry powder, bath soap, things like that. And what I know about Star Cassis is that she was teaching classes to other white people on how to use this Mammy iconography as a way to invoke a spirit, particularly a spirit of a black enslaved woman that was to come and care for these individuals and do their bidding spiritually and protect them and teach them divination and this and that and the third. And she was very mindful of the racist history behind the word Mammy. So she just said, well, I'm not going to call it Mammy. I'm going to call it Lama Dama, which is confusing as fuck because this is a black American tradition. We don't speak Spanish. Okay? So that was fucking confusing. But she, was trying to be politically correct as best she could. Now, she probably grew up with these things. I think she even said she did. A lot of white people did. Okay, and some black folks, they went along with what the white folks did because it's very easy for black folks to fall into that trap. If it's white, it's all right. And if white folks are doing it, then I guess it's okay. And not even realizing that they were participating in their own brand of anti-blackness. Now, my problem with the Mammy is this. First of all, it's a whole ass goddamn lie. And the reason why it is a lie is because historically, abolitionists, white females mostly, infiltrated plantations and plantation culture during the abolitionist movement, okay? And they went in as, Mataharis and basically went in to get firsthand accounts of what was really happening, all right, with African enslaved individuals. They wanted to see and report on it, and that's what they did. But one of the things that they witnessed was the sexual assault, the rape that was going on in the house as well as other parts of the plantation, but particularly with females, black women and girls who worked in the big houses, masters' houses, okay? They were either the nannies, the wet nurses, the cooks, the maid, whatever the case. And they were there also to be sex slaves to the master and whoever else wanted to be with them with master's permission. All right? That is rape. Now, in some cases, very rare cases, I am aware that some of these women did develop affection with these men and they had whole ass relationships and kids together and the master left them shit and they will. These stories do happen, okay? But for the most part, that was not the case. All right, this was not a love relationship. This wasn't a romance. This was all out victimization, violent sexual assault. Okay, because we all know rape is about control more so than it is about sexual gratification. All right. So when the abolitionists saw that this was happening to young girls and women in the plantations, they went back and did their whole intel. They had their debriefings, and they printed a lot of these things in their abolitionist newsletters and newspapers and so on. When the white plantation owners found out about it, they decided to push back. And guess what they did? First of all, they denied that this was the case, even though they saw all these biracial kids, or what they call mulattoes, running around. They still tried to act like that wasn't what was happening. And to further push that agenda, they created a vision of the black female enslaved woman. Okay? And they made her to what they saw in their eyes was something that was utterly unattractive, utterly non-sexually appealing. She's black always, all right? And yeah, some of us, our ancestors and us, are that black, all right? And that is a beautiful thing, actually. But back then, when you're dealing with colorism and all the bullshit institutional thinking that they put on us to pit us against each other, black was like the last thing you wanted to be. Black was not beautiful back then, y'all. Okay? I'm proud to say that isn't the case today. We done changed our whole mindsets around our deeply melaninated brothers and sisters. That's a topic for another day. Let me go on. Back then, black was like the worst thing you could be. All right? So they made these images of the black Mammy black. They made her extremely rotund. All right? Meaning heavy, big, fat. They made her with googly eyes, big old buck eyes, snaggled teeth, and big red lips. All right? And these were never meant to be something to be proud of, to celebrate. This was an all-out assault on the image of black women. Just to prove to people that, see, this isn't attractive to us. We would never put our little pink penises inside of this. This isn't beauty. This isn't the standard. Now, how is it a lie? Well, there are actual daguerreotypes, okay, which are like photographs of actual house slaves, female house slaves. Again, young girls, young women, and sometimes even middle-aged women as well. And what you will find, if you look at all of these images, they look nothing like the Mammy. They're quite the opposite, all right? Whether they are mulattoes, light-skinned, brown-skinned women, or even black-skinned women, what you will find is that they are all physically attractive. What you will see is that they all have small figures, what the white society considers to be attractive. They were built in that way, all right? So it's a whole ass lie. So now you have a lying ass liar by default, because she is part of the Urugu, you know what I'm saying, trying to hoodwink and bamboozle people and trying to appropriate a whole other African descendant people's cultural, spiritual tradition and make it accessible to people over here in the United States. Okay? Well, white people have an affinity for Mammy. To this day, there are white people my age who grew up with black caregivers in the home. You understand? And they love them more than their own mamas. You understand me? If you've seen the movie The Help, it'll kind of give you a little bit of an insight of what that was, because it was a very prevalent thing in the 50s. And, and prior to the 50s, it kind of stopped in the 60s, in the 70s. But you still have black nannies. I mean, yeah, I've seen it. You still have black nannies raising white kids, right? They just call them nannies. And they don't call them the Mammy, They tend to call them by their first names or whatever the caregiver wants them to call them. But my issue with Mammy is this. And I had a conversation with Star Castis about this. She and I talked about this. I wanted her to understand why what she was doing was fucking offensive to the memory of my ancestors and yours. First of all, if you are African descendants of enslaved people, you already have that mother in your bloodline. She's part of your ancestral truth. She's part of who you are and why you're here. All right? So honoring your ancestors, known and unknown. And for a lot of us, our enslaved ancestors are in fact unknown. I myself can go back to 2 generations of names of enslaved ancestors. I can't go back that far just yet. I intend to do so. But at this point in time, I only got back to 2 enslaved generations of ancestors. And I know their names. All right? But for a lot of us, we don't know. So we always include to our ancestors unknown, seen and unseen, in our prayers and communications to our ancestors, right? They had names. Their mothers gave them names when they were born. Okay? In or outside of the African cultural phenomena of the naming ceremony. These things did take place on plantations and in secret. But they were given names. And baby, when I tell you, ain't no African woman gonna name her girl child Mammy, you better catch that shit and hold it, because it never fucking happened. All right? So here we are now with this racist ass iconography that is a whole ass lie with a purpose to spread and push a certain type of propaganda, to push back on what the abolitionists were saying and doing, with exposing sexual violence on these plantations. Now we just done turned it into memorabilia collectors. And the majority of the people who collect these goddamn Mammy things is white folks, because of the emotional connection they have. And a lot of white folks to this day in their hearts really do believe we should all be enslaved again. Okay? When they say make America great again, you got to know that a lot of them are thinking this is what we want great again. Okay? We had our strongest economy and our happiest, best lives when we enslaved these black folks. That's what the fuck they're talking about. Okay? You got to learn how to read between the lines and peel the layers back to see the truth, y'all. So they love them some fucking Mammy. A Mammy is a lie. All right? Our ancestors had motherfucking names and they were not Mammy, and they did not look like these goddamn statues. They're very denigrating and hurtful. So when I see white people hanging on to this shit, that's just what they do. I can't really get mad at them for that. That's their historical truth, right? Where I get fucked up is when they're teaching other white people to call the spirit of one of my and your enslaved ancestors to do their motherfucking thing. Listen, and I said this on the radio show. I said it in a blog post I made a few years ago that got taken down, but somebody found it and reposted it to Tumblr, and I reshared that shit. You enslave my ancestors in the flesh, and what we're not gonna do is enslave them in the spirit today. Not on my motherfucking watch. So whenever I see this shit popping back up again, and I see people trying to defend this shit, all I say is keep doing it if you want to. Now I know somebody in particular, this white male, who was trying to entrench himself into Hoodoo culture, okay? And he had one of these fucked up statues talking about it belonged to his grandmammy or great-grandmother, whoever, white woman. All right, it was a part of his family heirloom shit. And he's like, well, fuck you, Mama Roo. I'm going to do what I do. Fuck you. I don't need you to tell me shit. I'm going to keep this statue on my altar. I said, do so at your own peril. Now, that wasn't a motherfucking curse. That was just the truth. So how come about 2 months later, his ass is on Facebook crying, oh my God, this happened to me. Something came in and ate up all his chickens. His fucking computers broke down. Nobody bought his fucking book. His wife wanted to leave him. He was about to get evicted. Just bullshit after bullshit after bullshit after bullshit. And all I could do was sit back and motherfucking cackle. Oh, my ancestors, baby. Okay, on time, all the time. And he's not the only person I said this to. I said it to a whole group of people, and they're like, fuck you, we ain't got to listen to you. Who the fuck are you? Who do you think you are telling us what we, blah, blah, blah. I am an advocate for my ancestors. That's who the fuck I am. But Racism and white privilege wants to think otherwise. Racism and white privilege say, well, we're going to listen to the white hoodoo lady because she's giving us carte blanche into this, and we don't have to listen to your black ass, because we don't respect you. We don't want to believe you. We don't trust you. So we'll just take what the white lady's giving us. And, again, that wouldn't be so problematic because I already seen what the fuck a mammy is going to do to some motherfuckers. She's going to come in and fuck all your shit up. So why should I fucking complain? My issue, however, is with black people. Black people doing this shit. Now listen, I grew up in Mississippi. All right? I got family in Arkansas. I got family in Louisiana. I got family in Georgia. I got family in Tennessee. I got family in Alabama. All right? And never, I've been in a lot of elders' homes. Never have I ever seen a motherfucking mammy nothing in one of those homes. Okay? At the bare minimum, one of them may have had a goddamn lawn jockey on the front. The little black man holding the lantern up. Okay? At the bare fucking minimum. I think I only seen that maybe once with a family member, and then maybe another time with a friend of the family. But other than that, we didn't play that shit. Okay, so someone's trying to spin this narrative. Oh yeah, we use these mammy jars and hoodoo amongst the black people. They use them in the ancestral. No. I've seen ancestral shrines growing up all over elders' homes in the South and up here in the North, and they don't have mammy statues on them. Okay. Now, people want to come up and throw up this anecdotal shit that they can't readily prove. Miss me with shit you can't prove. Okay? Just go to some black ass person's house. Go to the elder's house and show me that shit. Let the elder tell me what the fuck it is. All right? I'll wait. I'll fucking wait. But can't nobody tell me that our hoodoo ancestors put that ugly ass motherfucking lie on our female divine mothers on a goddamn spiritual altar. No motherfucking way. And black people, we practice being beholden to whatever white people are doing in a subconscious way. That's the part of the fucking Urugu shit. Urugu shit is very seductive, y'all. Urugu is what has our sisters out here calling themselves witches. Urugu is what's out here calling black folks, you need to honor your ancestors with a motherfucking mammy jar. That's all Urugu shit. So if the fucking thing is a lie, and that is not my opinion, that is historical facts. Okay? Black folks don't become historians of black history and African culture in our campuses for nothing. All right? They get there to learn the truth so they can disseminate the truth to the rest of us. The truth is out there. Find it for yourselves. Okay? Don't just take my word for this. You understand me? I had a student of Star Cassis try to defend her shit to me by telling me, oh, it's real. It's real. I had a dream about a mammy the other night, and I asked her, what does she want me to call her? And she said, Mammy. And she said she loved me and was willing to help me. Bullshit, motherfucker. Put Mammy up there with motherfucking white jolly ass Santa Claus and the goddamn tooth fairy and all them other shits. It's a motherfucking lie. It does not represent any of our divine fucking mothers. And you know what else? You know what else? They always put the focus on the woman. They always put the focus on the black female. What you don't see is her husband, her lover, her consort, her partner. You don't ever see no imagery about him. Now, you will see that in Afro-Latino culture. I believe they call them Francisco and Francesca. They are a couple. Why do you think that is? Because the people who made the iconography in Afro-Latino societies were the Afro-Latinos, not the slave, white, racist, hateful masters. The people themselves created that iconography. All right. And they have a whole ass thing around it that is unique to them. Why you don't see Mammy husband nowhere? Come on. Use your brain. Ask yourself why the fuck that is. Look at what's going on around you. Look at what's going on in the prison system. Look what's going on with police brutality for the most part. Look what's going on with our young boys and young men in our communities with the gang violence and all this denigration, that you hear about with rap music and all that shit. Come the fuck on. If that is not a light bulb moment for you, I don't know what the fuck is. The black man ain't nowhere in that shit. All right. Yeah, they had their own negative propaganda that they push, right? On the plantation, the black man was shiftless, dumb, and lazy, and mentally retarded for the most part. Okay, but past slavery, post emancipation, that shiftless, dull-witted, childlike black man that they were so fond of on the plantation, now all of a sudden he becomes this deranged, wild, sexually craven beast who only lives to rape white women and girls, and he must be castrated and strung up and done away with. Okay? That was the second thing they did to our black men. But Mammy was never fucking alone. All right. They tried to desexualize her by making her look sexually unattractive to cover up their bullshit that they were raping young women and girls who were working as slaves on their plantations. All right. So if she's asexual, she just lives and breathes to help old master little pickaninnies. He wants, she's just there so they can suckle her dry and all that bullshit. Then why the fuck would she have a husband? Why would she have a lover? Why would she have a black man in her life? Okay? That's loving her up good and plenty. He can't exist. Now, can he? No, the fuck he can't. Use your logic and your common sense. And if you're lacking in either of those, just go look at fucking history. Okay? Because guess what? Just like they made the black man into a wild, sexually crazed beast that only lives to rape white women and girls post-emancipation, guess what they did to Mammy, y'all? Guess what they did to Mammy? You know what the fuck they did to Mammy? They turned her into goddamn Jezebel. Oh, yes. Mm-hmm. That whole Betty Boop character everybody likes, she's a manifestation of the black Jezebel. Oh, go back and look at those historical cartoons, y'all. Please do. You'll find Eshu or Papa Legba personified in Brer Rabbit. Know your history, people. Know your history. Okay? See how everything just kind of ties together so that you could understand where we came from and how the fuck we got over and how some things are still persistent to this day. All right? Like the patty rollers of slavery times, they are now who? The Fraternal Order Police. All right? I think that's common knowledge for most folks now at this point in time, but not too recently, no one made that connection. Okay? It wasn't that long ago. This is kind of a recent realization for a lot of black folks. The connections are there everywhere when it comes to us and the things that define our history in this land, how we move in this land, the oppression that's still on us in this land, and everything else. So no, I rebuke the idea of reclaiming a motherfucking Mammy icon as it relates to our ancestral practice. Okay? Trust and believe me, your divine mothers will not like that. That was something used to hurt them. It was something used to lie on them. It was something used to keep them where the fuck they were, so that these meddlers, right, these northern rabble rousers, these people who didn't like what was going on plantations and slavery overall, would back the fuck off them and leave it alone. Do you really think that your enslaved great-great-great-grandmother, who was a victim to sexual violence on a plantation, or even post-emancipation for that matter, do you really think a woman with her whole ass own name is going to really feel kindly to you using something that was based on a lie to represent her? You, in your flesh, bone, and body, already represent her. You want to honor your divine mothers? Look in the motherfucking mirror. Okay, pardon the gunshots. I am outside. I am in the motherfucking hood. That happens. Anyway, look at yourself. Call your divine mothers to you. All right? Call them and they will come. And trust me, they will not look like no big googly-eyed, buck-toothed, fat black mammy. Okay? Not the way that the motherfucking Urugus have perpetuated them. Because again, we're dealing with people who looked at blackness as something bad, as something negative, as something wrong. All right? So when I say black, I'm only speaking to the way these images look, not as an indictment on blackness overall. So please don't get that twisted. Okay? Okay. So yeah. Let's reclaim the truth, you all. Let's not reclaim lies. Be very careful about Urugu trying to hold themselves as authorities on your ancestral truth. Because some of them are pretty motherfucking slick with it. How do I know that? Because they have black followers. Now, people in these so-called hoodoo groups and shit online and all on Instagram and whatever, they are perpetuating a lot of this nonsense. Okay? Because they just simply don't know any better. Nobody is telling them, hey, that's not real. So now, since everybody's we got to get this. We got to have this. Well, it's all right with me. It worked for me. Is that really your proof? Is that really what you're going to do to try to support and legitimize this nonsense? Really? Your ancestors, trust me. All right? You're already able to contact them. You're already able to pull them in. You're already able to invoke them. You're already able to do that just by being honest and true to yourself and to them. Remember, my first ancestral shrine had no objects on it with the exception of water, fresh flowers, and a white candle. No pictures, no statues, no beloved items that they used when they were alive. None of that. No offerings. Okay? All that stuff came later. That was how we start. We start with the bare minimum, and as we build this relationship with our spirits, they start telling us what they want. We let them tell us what they want. Okay? When you speak with a family member and they start telling you, oh yeah, she was really fond of that fragrance. That was her signature. Every time I smell that, I feel like she's hugging me. That was a fucking clue. Catch that shit. Take it back to your altar. Okay? That's how that works. You understand me? But picking up some motherfucking hateful image that was created by your ancestral oppressors to further oppress us as women, okay, by hiding a lie. Sexual fucking violence is what it was created for, all right, to push back on the truth. You are not doing your ancestral mothers any favors. Now, they might go easy on your ass because they just know you're a little ignorant right now, but they're confident that you might get it eventually. But if you find yourself getting cursed, if you find yourself having a run of bad luck, if you find that you feel like, something just ain't right and you just can't get right no matter what the fuck you do, you did the sage, you did the cleansings, you did the baths, you made offerings, you played music, you did all that shit, and for whatever reason, you still can't get right. You might even go spend some money with another worker trying to get this shit off you. Well, 9 times out of 10, brothers and sisters, if you have one of these offensive things on your ancestral altar, maybe taking it the fuck off will get you back right again, huh? How about that? All right? Woo! Man, it's a beautiful day. I'm out here on my roof, just enjoying the sun and the cool breezes. I hope that you're having good, glorious weather wherever you are. So I am done talking about that Mammy shit. It just really gets me fired the fuck up. So I'm going to cool down and talk about something else. I would like to announce the first ever Walking the Dakanga event here in Chicago, April 23rd and 24th. That is a Saturday and Sunday. It's coming up just in a few short weeks. All right. when I have public and private spiritual gatherings, rituals, ceremonies, whatever you want to call them. All right. I just call them family reunions sometimes because it's about family, ancestors. I call it walking the Dekinga. All right. And that's the name of this event. It'll be my first ever hosting of a public, meaning I don't know you, but you're invited to come event. Okay. Because usually people who come to my home for things, I know them. Right? They're rarely ever people I just met. So this will be a time to come to Chicago, to get with me, get with my sister, and get with my family. And we are going to go through some things. All right. I'm not necessarily calling it a workshop or a class or a seminar, although there will be learning involved. All right. There will be making things. There will be some listening. There will be some talking. There will be eating and drinking. There will be little short trips involved. All right. We'll be getting our feet tied and our hands dirty. You understand? More details about this will be forthcoming and very, very soon. All right. But that event is August 23rd, 24th. I might make an Eventbrite for it. All right. So that people can sign up and do this, because I really am tired of talking about this on this podcast or on social media. Everybody wants to learn things, and I can only share so much on these platforms. A lot of what I do, or what a lot of all of us do spiritually, specifically, involves being in my presence. All right. There are just certain things that you're going to have to see with your own eyes. There are certain things that you're going to have to feel with your own bodies, your own senses. All right. That's going to be like just things that you cannot convey over the internet. All right. A lot of people want to reduce hoodoo to tricks, to the magic, to the sorcery, or what a lot of folks like to call witchcraft. And I rebuke that altogether. We're so much bigger and we're so much more than that. All right. Yes, our sorcery is a part of it. It's what we do to fucking survive, right? It's not just about that. It's our medicine, and the medicinal part of it is lost in this internet sauce. Okay. The divine spiritual aspect of it is basically null and void. All right. Everybody just wants to do the tricks. Everybody just wants spells. Everybody just wants the work. Everybody just wants the juju part of it. Okay. And I get it. You know, it makes one feel empowered, right? It provides a sense of strength to those that are feeling vulnerable. And for too many motherfuckers, it's all about ego. They just want people they can lord over, and, you know, and people to be afraid with, you know, oh my God, don't mess with him. Don't mess with her. She gonna throw a root on you. Da 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 da. A lot of people are just doing it for ego. And it's sad. That really makes me sad. All right. But it's time now to take this shit offline and on the ground. All right. So if you are interested in that, reach out to me and let me know. All right. We're still in the early planning stages. The plan should be finalized in just a few days when I get with my quote planning committee. Okay. I have a planning committee, and we're going to iron out some details. Okay. The thing that is ironed out, this is a 2-day experience. If you are outside of Chicago, Illinois, I suggest that you check out Airbnbs, particularly those that may be on the south side of Chicago, because most of what we're doing will be taking place on the south side of the city. Okay. Day one, again, you know, it's going to be very relaxed. It involves getting dirty, some parts of it. Day number 2 is going to be a little bit different. You are encouraged to wear all white for Sunday's events. All right. So again, more details about walking the Dekinga are forthcoming. So follow me on Twitter, where I am at MamaRooHH. You can also follow me on Instagram, same handle. You can also follow my Facebook, where I am Nina Wilson for now. And all those details will be there very, very soon. Okay, so keep watching for that. There will be a cost associated with this. All right, I have an idea in mind. I need to get with the planning committee so we can iron out exactly what we're going to be providing to the attendees. I can't talk. Whew. attendees. There will be food and drinks. There will be materials that, people are going to be utilizing who attend. Okay, things that I demonstrate. You'll be given what you need. Okay, in these little, I guess, mini workshops or whatever. So there are costs involved. And, my time has to be covered as well, right? So, look forward to all of that information. It is forthcoming. So I'm going to wrap this up here, you guys. Again, thank you so much for listening. Please go and support. All you need is a little juju. Download that song. Listen to it. It's infectious. I mean, it's just a contagious beat. Every time I hear it, I just start moving and singing along, and she has the lyrics, so you can sing along too. How cool is that? Okay, shout out to my spiritual brother Max for doing the artwork and the production involved with that recording. So definitely support that. And another shout out to my sister Maisha for making that slamming kick-ass piece that she published yesterday. All right, so check that out as well. So I'm going to love you and leave you guys. Oh, and thanks to everyone that has been participating on the weekly Worldwide Action Against Violence campaign. I appreciate you. I love you. Thanks for taking the time out of your busy life to put some attention toward binding up this beast. Man, I appreciate you and love you so much. We're going to change the world, you guys. We are. All right? So, as always, I'm going to wish you love, peace, and powerful juju. Take care, everybody.